I feel you can listen me. Would you please write down in the chat option whether you can listen me? Good afternoon, Payal. Okay, thank you. Now let us start today. Last day we completed Surujar Hitmami. Today we are going to start chapter 6, that is on the face of it. Today we will start on the face of it, and actually this is the second last chapter. After this chapter another one chapter more we have to read from Vistas, that is Evans Tries O level. So today let us start on the face of it by Susan Hill, chapter 6, page number 56. Page number 56 of Vistas. So today let us start. Let me tell you what the story is all about, what we are going to read in this chapter. This is on the face of it. It's a very philosophical chapter, and we can have a lots of mental encouragement, mental boost that we can have from this chapter on the face of it. Actually it's written by Susan Hill, and the play, what does, before you read, I feel the text is with you, so let me read the first what is there, then I will come to the story, what the story is all about. That there is a play featuring an old man. There is a play, this is a one-act play. I feel that you have not forgotten that in class 11 you had also one-act play, that is Mother's Day. Here it is on the face of it, the one-act play. That in that one-act play, that featuring an old man and small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. Here we will see two characters will be there. One, a small boy, his name is Derek, but his pen name will be Derry, D-E-R-R-Y. He is 14 years old. And another character, Mr. Lamb, only Lamb. Title is there, no name is there, only Lamb, Mr. Lamb. And he is an old person. The old man strikes up a friendship with the boy who is very withdrawn and defiant. What does the meaning of withdrawn? Withdrawn means here Jerry is very withdrawn. Withdrawn means he wants to spend his life alone. He wants to spend his life away from the human being, away from the gatheration of people. And defiant. Defiant means he is very much steadfast. He is very firm in his opinion. What is the bond that unites the two? So that we will read. Who is Mr. Lamb? How does Derry got into his garden? So we will get the question from this first part. Let me tell first what is what. Here Derry is a 14 years old boy and Mr. Lamb. There is similarity and dissimilarity between these two characters. First, similarity. Both Derry and Mr. Lamb, they are not normal. Means both of them suffers from deformities. Means both of them are handicapped. Derry, the 14 years old boy, one side of his face has been burned by acid. If you turn at page number 58, turn the page number 58, you can see that we are having a child, having a boy, that his name is Derry. Here it is left side, it's blackish, means it has been burned by acid, so he is not normal. On the other hand, the other man, Mr. Lamb, he is having a tin leg. You can have the right leg. Here is the picture shows that the man is sitting, he is Mr. Lamb, the boy who is standing is Derry, and it's a garden, it's Mr. Lamb's garden, and Lamb is sitting and one of his legs is a tin leg, means one of his legs had been blown. How his leg had been blown, it has not stated. How the face of Derry's had been burned, how burned? Burned by acid, but how this accident happened, this also not stated. So this is the similarity between these two characters, one Derry and Mr. Lamb, that both of them are handicapped. Both of them are having deformities. Derry's face had been burned by acid, and Mr. Lamb's Mr. Lamb's leg, one of his legs had been blown up, and he is having tin legs. Now, this is the similarities. What is the dissimilarities? Jerry thinks that as his face had been burned by acid, so his life had already been spoiled. He cannot come out of his house because whenever he comes, he had witnessed that other people discuss about his face. Other people, they look at his ugly face and they discuss that this probably the ugliest face they have ever seen, and they criticize the face. So Jerry always wants to keep himself aloof from the human company. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb, though he is having a thin legs, though other children call him Lemmy Lamb, lame person, he is a lame person, so call him Lemmy Lamb, but he does not bother at what the other people call about him. So the dissimilarity is that Jerry thinks that his life had been spoiled. Nothing is going to happen in his life. He had spoiled his life. His life had been exhausted. Nothing is going to happen good. Nothing good is going to happen in his life because his face has been burned. He could not come out to that mainstream of society, and as he could not come out to the mainstream of society, so nothing would happen in his life. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb thinks actually he doesn't bother about. Now, when the story or when this drama would open, we will see that actually setting all the actions in taking place, all the actions is taking place in Mr. Lamb's garden. Mr. Lamb is sitting in his garden, and all of a sudden Jerry had come into his garden. Though the main gate was remained open, the main gate was actually open, but Jerry did not use the main gate. Rather, other people might have seen him. That is why he just climbed in that wall, that's boundary wall, and he came into the garden with the help of the wall, climbing into the wall. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb was sitting in his garden, and Jerry did not notice that Mr. Lamb was sitting in his garden. So when actually Mr. Lamb came and Jerry started to talk to him, when Jerry came and Mr. Lamb started to talk to him, then Jerry was very much surprised because he thought nobody was there in the garden. And he told Jerry that I thought I have come to this garden because I thought nobody was there in the garden. And Mr. Lamb told, yes, you are right, because nobody was there in that house also. I'm sitting in that garden and my house is empty. So from that speech, the speech is over there. So what is the main theme of this? That Mr. Lamb started to encourage Jerry. Mr. Lamb had understood that what is Jerry's shortcomings, what is Jerry's fault, why does he think that his life had been spoiled because of that burned face. Now Mr. Lamb started to encourage Jerry. He would tell that it depends on our outlook. You must not bother what the people are telling. You must not think that you must not give so much importance to the discussion of other people. You should lead your life as it comes to you. That Mr. Lamb does. Mr. Lamb actually does. That Mr. Lamb always wants to lead his life as it comes to him. He doesn't bother whether he is having a thin leg, whether the other people call him Levi Lamb, whether he is not normal, whether he is handicapped. He does not bother about. And he wants to transmit these very thinking to Jerry, and Jerry was very much impressed by Mr. Lamb. Why? Because Jerry was 14 years old. In his short span of life of 14 years, nobody had encouraged him as Mr. Lamb had encouraged. So Jerry was very much impressed at Mr. Lamb's talk, Mr. Lamb's speech. Now he told Mr. Lamb that he wanted to go to his house because he had not told his mother that he is coming here. Now Mr. Lamb told that as you are going to your house, you may not come again. Now Jerry promised him that I am going for 10 or 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes I would come back again to your garden. At first Jerry, after coming to the garden, immediately he wanted to go there because he did not want to meet with other people. But Jerry was so much impressed. By the end of this drama, we will come to see that Jerry wanted to speak more and more from Mr. Lamb, and he promised Mr. Lamb that within 10 minutes or 15 minutes I will come back to your garden. And Jerry went to his mother. Now Derry went to his mother and he would tell his mother that I am going to Mr. Lamb's garden. Now, about Mr. Lamb, there was a rumor. Other people think that Mr. Lamb is having a connection with the spirits. So, other people do not believe Mr. Lamb. There is a rumor. So, Derry's mother forbade forbade Derry not to come, forbade Derry to come to Mr. Lamb's garden. But Derry did not listen to his mother, and he came back again to Mr. Lamb's garden, and he came and he actually, after entering into the garden, and now this time he had entered into the garden using the main gate, because now he does not bother, as he had been taught, as he had been impressed by Mr. Lamb. So Derry does not bother about what the other people are thinking about his ugly look. So he came inside the garden using the main gate, and he actually was asking for Mr. Lamb. He could not see Mr. Lamb around there, and he told Mr. Lamb that, see, I have come here, I have kept my promise, and I am here. But he was searching where Mr. Lamb was, but he could not found. Now, in a little distance, he could see that Mr. Lamb was lying, and actually when Derry went to meet with his mother, Mr. Lamb, with the help of a ladder, he was going to pick some crab apples. The crab apples trees are there. Crab apple, one kind of apple, wild apple, you can say. It is having a very pungent taste. It's not like the apple these are available in the market. Crab apple, it's one kind of apple. So jelly is better made from crab apple rather than eating of raw. So it's having a pungent taste, that I'm telling. So Derry actually, whenever Derry went to meet with his mother, Mr. Lamb had gone to pick some crab apples from his trees with the help of a ladder. Unfortunately, the ladder had slipped, and Mr. Lamb had fallen from the ladder, and he had fallen on the ground. Now Derry saw that Mr. Lamb had fallen. You can have the picture, page number 67. If you turn the page number at page number 67, you can see that Mr. Lamb was lying. The ladder is also there, and Derry had gone to Mr. Lamb, and after going there, he asked Mr. Lamb that I have come here, I have kept my promise, but unfortunately he found Mr. Lamb died. So this is the pathetic end of this drama. Why pathetic? Because Miss Derry, who had been suffering from these from this thinking that nothing would happen in my life had been spoiled because my face had been burned by acid, so my life had already been spoiled, burned. My life had already been burned. But the person who encouraged him, who actually learned him how to live in life, how to think, and must not bother about other people, now this person died. So the first time, the person who impressed Derry, who gave lots of encouragement, who gave lots of pep talk, we may call, and Derry was very much encouraged about, now he found the man lying dead there, and there the drama comes to an end. So why I am telling it's philosophical? Because who are really handicapped, they think that they are not normal, they are different from the normal people, they are different from the common people. So they always suffer from inferiority complex. Inferiority complex means they feel that as we are not normal, so we are not the common people. The common people have lots of facilities. The common people can lead their life in a smooth way, but we cannot lead our life in a smooth way. We are handicapped, we are confined, our life is not good. They may think like these, that Derry used to think like these, but Mr. Lamb had changed his thinking, and ultimately Derry found that this man who changed his thinking towards life is dead, and that is why that is the end of this drama that I told so far. Have you understood? Urpita and Payal, have you understood what I am telling? What I had told? Okay, thank you. Told you have understood. Okay. So let us start. What I am telling that the action is taking place in Mr. Lamb's garden. Scene 1. This is one act play. Mr. Lamb's garden. The place, the setting. I feel you are having the text with you. There is an occasional sound of bird song and of tree leaves rustling, as it is garden. So one can listen, the birds are singing in the garden, and there is a rustling sound of leaves. Okay, rustling sounds means when the wind blows through the leaves, then it makes a sound. Okay, so rustling sound of leaves. Jerry's footsteps are heard as he walks slowly and tentatively through the long grass, and we can listen Jerry's footsteps. Jerry had entered into the garden, though not using the main gate, but he had come by climbing the garden wall, and his footsteps can be heard, and his footstep is slowly and tentatively. What's the meaning of tentatively? Tentatively means as experimental, means Jerry is not so much confident in his footsteps also. He pauses, then walks on again. He came, he pauses, and he walks on. He comes round a screen of bushes, and he came by the side of a bushes. A garden, bushes are there, trees are there, so that when Mr. Lamb speaks to him, he is close at hand and very startled. And Jerry had not seen that somebody was sitting there in the garden. Jerry thought that nobody was there in the garden. That is why he had come into the garden, because had he seen Mr. Lamb sitting in the garden, he may not come into the garden. Because as I told, Jerry always wanted to live his life aloof from the human being. He did not want to come in front of any human being. He did not want to converse with any human being, because he suffers from that inferiority complex. He feels that as acid had burned his life, it had also burned his life. As acid has burned his face, it had also burned his life also. And now when actually he came, Daddy did not notice that somebody was sitting in the garden. So when Mr. Lamb speaks to him, he had startled. Jerry trembled. Okay, when Mr. Lamb started to talk. Now here, Mr. Lamb, mind the apples. Here is the first speech. Mr. Lamb was sitting in the garden, and Daddy was there. In between there was a bush, and Jerry had not seen Mr. Lamb sitting there. So Mr. Lamb spoke, mind the apples, see the apples. Jerry, what? Who is that? Who is there? Jerry is puzzled. Whenever he heard Mr. Lamb to talk, he was puzzled. Who? What? Who is there? Who is that? Who is there? He was confused. He was asking, who is there? Who is there? And Mr. Lamb, Lamb, my name. Mr. Lamb told, my name is Lamb. Mind the apples. Mind the apples means see the apples. Crab apples these are. These are crab apples, as I told, crab apples. Okay, this is different from the normal apple that we get in the market. It is having a very pungent taste. So crab apple these are. Wind falls in the long grass, Mr. Lamb told. In my garden there are many crab apple trees, and the wind had made them to fall. You can trip, so you can stumble over the apple, or see the apple, you can stumble over it. Jerry, I thought this was an empty place. Here I ... there ... It means that Jerry is suffering from confidence. Jerry is lacking his confidence. I thought this was an empty place. I didn't know there was anybody here. Jerry told, oh, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know there was anybody there. I didn't know. Mr. Lamb, that's all right. Mr. Lamb told, that's all right. I am here. Mr. Lamb told, okay, that's all right. What are you afraid of, boy? Mr. Lamb asked this to Jerry. What are you afraid of? Okay, that's all right. Now Jerry told, that's all right. What are you afraid of? Now Jerry, I thought it was empty, an empty house. Now Jerry told, yes, I thought it was an empty house. That is why I have come. Mr. Lamb, so it is. Mr. Lamb told, yes, it is. It means his garden is adjoining in front of his house. Mr. Lamb's house, Mr. Lamb's garden is adjoining to his house. Means the garden was there and in front of that house. So Jerry told that I feel it's an empty house, and Mr. Lamb told, oh, so it is. It was empty. It was empty house. Since I am out here in the garden, it is empty. So from this speech we can understand that Mr. Lamb is telling to Jerry that it is an empty house. Since I am here in the garden, so it is empty. Okay, so it is empty. So from this speech we can understand that Mr. Lamb lives there alone. He doesn't have any other family member, because he told that as I am in the garden, so my house is empty, so nobody is there until I go back inside. He told, yes, what he told Mr. Lamb had told to Jerry. Jerry told that I thought it's an empty house, that is why I have come. Now Mr. Lamb told, yes, he thought the same, it is really an empty house unless I go back inside. In the meantime, I am out here and likely to stop. And Mr. Lamb told that in the meantime I am here and I like to stop here. A day like this, beautiful day, not a day to be indoors. So Mr. Lamb, from this speech we can also understand that Mr. Lamb is a nature lover as well, that he wanted to spend the day in the garden. He did not want, he told that I do not want to spend such a day. It's a beautiful day, it's sunshine, it's September time, you know, and it's a beautiful day. I don't want to spend the day indoors. That is why I have come out in the garden. I want to spend the down here. No, Jerry, panic. I have got to go. Panic means Jerry is getting afraid. Jerry told, I have got to go. I will have to go there. Mr. Lamb, not on my account. No need that you must go from there. Not on my account. I don't mind who comes into the garden. And Mr. Lamb told, yes, I don't mind whoever comes into the garden. The gate is always open. The gate is always open. Only you climb the garden wall. So Mr. Lamb had noticed that Jerry had used the garden wall to come into the garden. So Mr. Lamb had told this, or pointed out to Jerry, that the gate is always open. Only you climb the garden wall. You just use the wall to come into the garden. Now Jerry, angry at this, Jerry became angry and told, you were watching me. Jerry told Mr. Lamb, you were watching me. Now Mr. Lamb, I saw you. Mr. Lamb told, yes, I saw you, but the gate is open. All welcome. You are welcome. I sit here. I like sitting. Now Mr. Lamb told that all are welcome. You are also welcome, because the gate of my garden is always open. Everybody is welcome. You are also welcome, and I am sitting here because I like sitting here. So I feel you have understood so far. Have you understood? In our next class we will continue afterwards. I feel you have understood. If you have any queries, you may ask. In my next class also you may ask. And in our next class again we will continue where we are leaving it today. So thank you for joining my class.